Horror isn't my favorite genre, so when I say I like the Resident Evil 2 remake, I mean it. I've heard a lot of good things about the remake, from the graphics to the atmosphere of it. I first rented this game sometime last year around the summertime, and I got up to the sewers, and then I bought it when it went on sale. Ever since then, I've been having lots of fun with the remake. I still have a little bit more of the game to play because I still have to do the B scenario for both characters, but I still do like what I played so far. But now let's get into the reasons why I like and dislike the game. Also get into the graphics, and honestly I do think it looks amazing. I played this game on the base PS4 and I'm surprised how well it runs, because it's the base PS4. From the character models to the zombies, I honestly do think, again, it looks amazing. I do also think that the monster design in this game look really disgusting, like for example the monsters in the sewers when you go in the water boat. The added detail to them is just really amazing, and it's just, again, super disgusting sometimes. But now we'll move on to the gameplay, and honestly I think the gunplay here was really satisfying. You have to be really precise with your shots, and when you land a hit you can see the damage almost right away. Like for example, if you shoot the zombie's arm, then obviously the arm will get damaged and they stagger. If you hit the legs and all that stuff. And again, I've been playing this game with controllers, and honestly I do think they may have worked with that. And I'm not too good at aiming, but I think I got kind of used to it kind of fast. Also, another nice touch that the remake has was making the guns recoil really satisfying, along with you pulling the trigger. It just feels really nice when you actually get to play it. Now it's a good time to get into one of the Resident Evil staples, the puzzles. A lot of the puzzles in the remake aren't too hard, but I felt like a lot of them were satisfying when you actually get to solve them. The first one in the RPD with the medallions is probably one of my favorite puzzles in the game so far, and honestly, that and I think the lab also has some really good puzzles. I can't remember much of them on the top of my head, but I had a lot of fun in the lab just because the puzzles were really fun to solve. Also, the remake also has a bunch of modes that you can do other than the story, and it's like 3 survival series with a bunch of the characters in the game. I think a lot of them are just what if scenarios. I haven't really played them, but honestly I think it's good practice if you want to test your skills in the game and get some records with the survival modes. Speaking of modes, I think the story is actually pretty playable, not because of the actual story itself, but the gameplay. When I played the game for the first time, I wasted a lot of ammo and health items, and by the sewers I had almost no ammo, and I had to run away from almost everything, and I kept on dying because no health items. I couldn't manage at some point, I think when I fought stage 3 broken, started low with the difficulty, and I'm just really bad at the game when I first started. But it taught me not to shoot everything in sight, and trust me, you don't need to shoot everything, but I guess that's one thing I love about this game, that you can get better and you can learn how to save your ammo and such. One of the final things I do love about this game is the sound design. How the zombies' groans fade in and out as you get farther or closer for them is really good, and if you have headphones, the effect of it is just amazing. And honestly, the same goes with Mr. X. You can actually hear his footsteps and plan your route around it, and honestly, again, play with headphones if you ever get the chance to, because it's just really nice, and you get to experience the game a little bit better in my opinion. Also, the soundtrack of the game, I like the original soundtrack since that's what I've been playing when I've been playing the remake, so I'll give credit to the original soundtrack because it's really good. But now let's move on to what I didn't like about the game. Also note, I haven't really played the original game as much, so I'm not as familiar with it, but I'll not be comparing it to that, so all the dislikes would just be me talking about this game only. One of the major things I didn't like about this was the length for the main story. For one scenario, it should take you about 6 hours at maximum, maybe 7. It took me about 6 hours and 50 minutes because, I had to redo a lot of stuff, and, I didn't know all the puzzles 100%, so, there's that. Yes, I mentioned how you can play the game a lot to get better runs, but again, I'm just talking about how the story show. You go from the police station to the sewers to the lab, and again, it takes you about maybe 4 to 6 hours at most. I kind of wish they spent a little bit longer fleshing some stuff out, but it's whatever. I'll just take it because at least you can run it numerous times to get a better run, but again, I wish it was fleshed out a little bit more. Another thing I really disliked about this game was Mr. X, and for me, I think he's the worst part of this game. I found him more annoying than scary, and in the remake only, he shows up in both scenarios, and I think it makes it a lot less scary in this. He just halts your progress, and you get nothing from down here, because in the original, he only shows up in the B scenario, and you can actually get some good stuff if you take him down, and if you can take him down at that time. And I know in the original he only showed up in a few areas, which made him scarier, but in this one, I think he shows up in the whole police station, and depending on your section, like if you do Ada's section in the remake, he shows up there, but it just, Mr. X was just not that fun to deal with in this game, so that's another dislike. I've mentioned how I played with the original soundtrack when playing the game, and that's purely because the remake soundtrack kinda sucked. For the most part, I just remember it being like silent noise, and even when there was actual music playing, it just played for like 5 or 10 seconds and it just never came back again. And it really sucked because I've heard such great things about the original soundtrack, and even then I played through the game on the original soundtrack and I fucking loved it. But this just, it's nothing compared to the original, and it kind of sucks because the remake is really decent of a game and I really do like it. Had fun with it, just the soundtrack was completely lacking. And that's more or less everything that stood out with the remake for me. For the most part, I really do think it's still fun, albeit some really minor flaws that really get to me. And honestly, if you get a full price, I think it's at least worth it. I got it on sale because it was like 29 bucks for the deluxe edition. I was like, you know what, why not? I have some cash, so I was like, might as well get it now. But let's go over the likes and dislikes before we end the video. Likes, graphics, gameplay, the puzzles, replayability, and sound design. Dislikes, short story, Mr. X, and the soundtrack, or at least the remake soundtrack. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys later.